Good morning, everyone. I wanted to do a video today, show a little progress on my breakout. But before I did that, well, a little progress on the breakout. Also wanted to talk about risers. So I'm putting taller bars on the breakout. I'm in the middle of doing that, and the problem I was having was the electronic gauge. So I've mentioned it a few times. I'm a big fan of Killer Custom products, and they have these 2-inch risers that are just absolutely awesome. Problem with them is they are not perfectly round at the base, so I can't just get a basic gauge relocation kit for the electronic gauge. Reach out to Killer Custom and they just don't want to help. They're basically like your SOL. We don't make a product for it. We don't plan on doing it. So basically we sell you these risers and we don't sell a solution for the gauge mount for them. So the risers worked great when I had them on the Fat Bob, where the gauge was completely separate from the mount. But just about every other bike right now, except for the Fat Bob or the Fat Boy, has some sort of gauge on the clamp, on the top clamp. So it's basically a $270 set of risers now that I have no use for. So I'll probably end up throwing them up on eBay. Shame on you, Killer Customs, for having a customer that spent quite a bit of money with you guys, and you just basically tell me you're SOL. I even tried to get their metal cage that holds the electronic gauge, and then they sell rings that you can mount it around the bars, but they don't sell 2-inch rings to go with their 2-inch bars that they predominantly sell. I'm like beside myself. If there was ever something in a company that said, hey, buy our product, but we're not going to give you the products to go along with it, you got to figure it out for yourself. We're going to sell something that goes with something completely different. That's Killer Custom. I don't know how else to say it. Love their bars, but if you're looking for anything other than bars or maybe a tail section, any kind of solutions, don't reach out to them because they're just absolutely zero help whatsoever. So what I ended up doing was, so first of all, the only risers that I can find that are lower risers, because the stock risers on the Breakout are like 4.5, 5 inches tall, and they just look horrible. They have the pullback, so I'm not going to put tall bars on those risers. So I searched around. Harley Davidson actually makes a set of they're like 2-inch or 1.5-inch risers. With the ELO clamp, but they're like $200-300, and they just look like just the most basic, cheap possible risers you can get. So for me, that's not an option. The front end of the bike is kind of meaty. I want it to look beefy with those handlebars. So those risers just weren't an option. So I've been looking far and wide for a bunch of different types of risers, and the best possible solution I can find is a guy on Amazon sells these Power James risers. Now I'll tell you this, I did reach out to them, I did ask where they were made. He said they are made in China. They are made out of 6061 aluminum. I got the risers. You can tell they are CNC machined. Am I happy about putting China parts on the bike or something from China? Not particularly. Do I think that they're weak, that they're just gonna crack driving down the road? Obviously not. The riser itself there's not a lot of pressure put on the actual risers. You have the bushings in there that absorb a lot of the flex in it. Even putting the risers on, it only takes 40 pounds of pressure to set those bolts in place, and I think it's 20 for the top clamp. So it's just not a lot. I don't think there's going to be an issue using them. However, it's the first time I'm actually using something like that, a China product, on any one of my bikes. But I guess, at least the guy's honest with me where the origin is from. It's still 6061 aluminum. I know there can be different grades of aluminum of what they call it, but they do feel okay. I'm going to show you really quick what came. So these are the Power James risers. They come in this nice box. They're packaged pretty well. The bolts are actually stainless steel bolts, so they're pretty nice. The riser themselves, I mean, they feel pretty quality. I don't know if the camera can pick up the CNC machining, but they are CNC machined, so they will literally sit on the bike. They go like this. And then the top clamp will sit on it like this. So I mean, it's a decent looking top clamp. It will go with the lines of the bike once the bars are installed. I can show you what the gauge will look like when it's in. So that's how it will mount. I mean, I'm gonna try it. I'm going to put it on there once I get the bars in. You know, at this point, like I said, I love Killer Customs bars. However, at this point, I wish there was another company that made a decent set of 2-inch bars for the bike, because I'm just really disappointed in them right now. You know, it's freaking metal. It's a machine shop. Like, why wouldn't they make something to complement their own products instead of just saying, sorry guy, you're SOL? So I don't know. You know, I know Dominator makes some nice 2-inch bars, but they're meat hooks, and I'm just not crazy about the meat hooks. When I first saw meat hooks, I thought they were pretty cool. I put a pair on my lowrider, and then after like a week or so, I just felt they looked so passé, and I kept seeing them everywhere else, and I just wasn't a fan of them. So I came across the Killer Customs, and I like those bars a lot. However, if I come across somebody else that has 2-inch bars, before I install these, excuse me, I will return the Killer Customs, and I will put a set of those bars on the bike. But in the meantime, like I said, I will finish this video as soon as my bars come, and I will show you the finished product. But so far, the Power James, they look pretty decent. China-made product. They were about $90 for the risers. CNC machined, 6061 aluminum. So we'll see. Stay tuned. Well, I'll just connect the next video with this one as soon as the bars arrive, and then I'm able to complete that. Alright guys, hope you like what I'm putting out there. If you're interested in different Harley parts and you want to continue to see this build, please make sure you like and subscribe. Yeah, thanks guys. Alright guys, it's like 2 weeks later, and I'm finally finishing up this quick video of these Power James risers. So I finally got them put on the bike. Been waiting to get my Killer Custom handlebars in, and I haven't gotten them in. I did try to buy a cheap pair on Amazon. Yeah, not good. So I don't remember the name of them, but just don't buy handlebars off of Amazon. When I got it here, they look cool, look just like Killer 2-inch custom bars, but the handlebar where the grip and everything goes on was actually jiggling, which means the weld inside was broken. Not good. So don't buy handlebars from there. Spend money on handlebars. But as far as the Power James risers, so there was one other guy that was doing a review of them on YouTube, and like, I don't know, I got nothing against the guy. I don't know the guy, obviously, but the guy was bitching about them and returned them because there was a slight gap in the clamp. Hello, it's a fucking clamp. Of course there's going to be a slight gap, like a millimeter or so. If there wasn't a gap, it wouldn't be clamping. It would fit perfectly and your bars would spin. So really quick, here they are on my bike, okay? You can see, I don't know if you're able to tell, but there's literally like a 1 millimeter gap. They are torqued down. I put about 50 miles on the bike with these, and they work perfect. So I did speak to the guy that sells them on Amazon, okay? He did tell me that they're made in China, but they are 6061 aluminum. Man, when it comes to small risers like this that will house that,
It's really the only other things I can find is the OGs, which who knows, I may get the OGs down the road, but for now, for $89 for these risers, 6061 aluminum, CNC machined, like, I just feel like how can I go wrong? The OGs are 300 bucks. So basically, all I'm saying is if you want to get a set of cheap risers, just feel confident, Power James. I'm not a big fan of buying stuff from China, but there's certain things that I just feel like if you can get away with it, do it. If it's strong enough, like, just do it. Allows you to spend the money on something that's more important, whether that's your bike or something else. So like I said, Power James risers look decent, perform decent. They are just fine to me. Little name right there. If you're embarrassed by that, you could always scrape it off, but they work just fine. You know, yeah, I know my wires look messed up, all big long wires zip tied together, waiting for my 12-inch bars to come on. But other than that, guys, it's all good. Have a good one. See you.